With that being said, we'll begin with Alabama A&M head coach Connell Maynor. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing great, Coach. Coach, as always, thank you so much for joining us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent victory at home over Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Well, first of all, I want to start off by congratulating Coach Dooley for getting to the championship game and Coach Sanders for getting to the championship game. And then Coach Simmons for getting in the FCS playoffs, and wish all of y'all good luck. We played our senior day playing Pine Bluff in a game which was a rematch of the championship game from the spring, and we wanted to send our seniors out on top with a win on the last game, and they got 4 winning seasons, and they won 4 Madison City Classics, and they won the SWAC championship, HBCU national championship, 4 winning seasons, and we had 7 straight losing seasons before they got here. So they helped change the culture, change the program. They bought in, believed, and led these other guys, and got our program heading in the right direction with 4 winning seasons in a row and 4 wins in a row heading into next year. So I'm just so proud of those guys and my coaching staff for a great job they did. And take my hats off to Coach Gamble and his guys. They played hard, and it was a game for most of the game for 3.5 quarters. Halftime, we had a 17-point lead. They come out and score. And 18-point lead, they cut it to 11. And they get a stop. And if they can go down and score that, they can cut it to 4. But we was able to get a stop and go back down and score and kind of get it back to a 3-possession game, and was able to take control in the 4th quarter. But it was a good football game. I'm just happy for my seniors. Those guys went out on top, and we had a lot of guys that had a good game. So we got to get to work now, beat those roads, beat those bushes, and get some more players in here, and get ready for next year.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. One up for questions for Coach Maynor. First question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned in your opening statement how you congratulated the teams that are moving on to the SWAC championship game in Florida A&M for moving on to the playoffs. What does it mean for the league to have a team make the FCS playoffs and for a team to be playing the Celebration Bowl in the next month?
We get a lot of exposure. We get a lot of exposure for the SWAC conference, and that's what we deserve. We got great players. We got great coaches, and we deserve to put our product on national TV and on the national scene. And so we look forward to a good championship game, and then going on to the Celebration Bowl where the SWAC can be represented again in the first bowl game of the year. And everybody will be waiting for football after that little break. So that's going to be great for the SWAC again. And then FAMU, I really think that Willie has done a great job. He's always been a great football coach. We know that. He got a good football team. He got a good offense and got a great defense. And so that's a great formula for winning games. And I look forward to seeing him win this week and the next week. And you know what? Once he does that, that's going to show the FCS playoffs that, guess what? We can play football in the SWAC, because if we taking our 3rd best football team and they winning games in the playoffs, what would happen if we had our 1st and 2nd team in the playoffs? So Coach Simmons would do a great job, and they got a great chance to really put the SWAC on notice and let them know how good we play, how good football is in the SWAC.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Mo Carter.
Hey, Coach. So, of course, on Saturday, you saw a senior class that did all kind of great things for this Alabama A&M program play their final game at Louis Cruz Stadium. Among those, Aquill Glass. He wasn't a part of your initial first class, but, you still had a big role in helping him develop into the young man that he became. Talk about the overall performance that he had going out in his final hoorah at Louis Cruz.
Oh, man, it's unbelievable performance. I think 450 yards, 6 touchdown passes, no interceptions. And that's how you want to end your career at home on senior day, man. That's a lifetime memory that he'll never forget, and was able to enjoy. All his family was there. His girlfriend was there. All his friends. And so that's just a great experience. And I'm just so happy for him and his career that he's had. And he'll get a shot at the next level, hopefully. And hopefully he'll take advantage of that opportunity. I think he's ready for it. And I'll be praying for him and pulling for him, as well as all my players.
And after we talked to you following the game, we went back into the press box. We crunched a bunch of numbers, and he was fourth all-time in SWAC career passing yards with 12,136. And he's right behind Steve McNair, Bruce Eugene, and Willie, the satellite Titan. You're a former quarterback. I mean, that's kind of like quarterback royalty when you look at it and knowing that a player that you coach is a part of those guys now.
It is. It is, man. That's a who's of quarterbacks right there, man. And when you're mentioned with those guys, you know you're one of the greatest. And Quill Glass is mentioned in there with those guys, and right up there with those guys. And those are SWAC legends, man. And it's an honor for me to have coached Quill Glass and help him reach that level in college football.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Question goes to Dr. Kenyatta Cavill.
Coach Maynor, congratulations on the season.
Thanks,
How's it
Doc.
going this morning?
Doing well, Doc. How's it going with you?
I'm doing well. Wanted to ask about evaluation process. Do you do a self-evaluation and team evaluation at the end of the year? And if you do, how do you go about it?
We look at take the stats, watch the tapes, and look at our weaknesses, look at our strengths, see what we need to work on, see what we're weak at, see what we're strong at, and go from there and try to replace, of course, the guys that we lost, like a Quill Glass. We know we'll sign another quarterback. But you really take a deep dive in to see where your weaknesses and where your strengths was in your program, and you attack those to try to make your weaknesses your strengths and keep your strengths strong and improve your program. And so that's what we're gonna have to try to do. And everybody does. And be honest with yourself, see what you need to get better at, and attack it.
One follow-up question more about organizational philosophy. You've been a part of different organizations and institutions, conferences over the years, both professionally and at the collegiate level. Can you tell me to some degree how important it is to have organizational success, everybody on the same page, from institution to conference, about moving things in a championship direction?
Well, it's the most important thing. You know, whenever I go talk to people about employment, I want to know what their plan is. You know, what's your plan for the football program in 5 years? What are your goals? How many coaches are we going to have? What's our recruiting budget going to be? And I want to make sure that they're on the same page with me as winning championships. And in order to do that, you have to be on the same page from the top. They have to be willing to do it. You know, if they like, well, coach, we're only going to have 8 coaches and we're only going to have $65,000 recruiting, this and that. Okay, now I have to make a decision. Okay, is that what I want to do? If that's what I want to do, then I make the decision to go with that program. If that's not what I want to do, we're not on the same page, then I just move on. So it's very key that from the administration to the AD to the coaches to the players, everybody understand what you're trying to accomplish and the goal that you're trying to reach. Some programs are happy with winning seasons, just getting to a bowl game. Some programs, you win 8-9 games, the coach get fired. So it all depends on where you're at and what that organization is trying to do. And some organizations say they want to play for championships, and if they coach not getting championships, they get fired. Some programs just want to have a winning season, be competitive, and they coach can do that. They have a long career. So you just have to be on the same page and see what they want and make sure that's what you want and go from there.
Thank you, Coach. Really appreciate the totality of the 2021 season, both the spring and fall. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Jean-Jacques Taylor.
Hi, Coach. There was a lot of hype about Deion Sanders coming to the SWAC before the season started, even though we know he coached in the spring. What do you think his impact has been on the SWAC this season?
It's been tremendous. He has a tremendous impact. Everything he does is spotlighted, and he's only doing great things to help this conference be notarized and built up, and trying to bring us better athletes, trying to get us 3 or 4 or 5 stars. He's doing it. And so we have to compete with him. So now we got to try to do it. I mean, from he trying to get names on back of jerseys, stay in the best hotels, fly in the best airplanes. And so everything he's trying to do, we've been trying to do for years. But he's Deion Sanders. There's only one Deion Sanders now. Okay. There's only one Deion Sanders. There's a lot of NFL players, but there's only one Deion Sanders. So he can make the needle move faster than a lot of people, most people, 99% of the people. And that's what he's been able to do in the SWAC. And so it's been a pleasure to coach with Deion, and I wish him luck and coach Dooley luck in the championship game. But he's been a great addition to the SWAC and HBCU football.
Has he helped you move the needle because you can say, well, they're doing that over here. Can we do a little bit of that at A&M?
Of course. Hey, look, this is what Jackson is doing. We got to do the same thing. You know, I've got training table this season because Jackson had training table. So, of course, I'm gonna try to compete. I want to win championships. I want to compete at the highest level. So I need the same stuff that other guys have, and we need the playing field to be even. So we're working on little things too, trying to make our program better, and so we can recruit those top athletes also.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach Maynor, just want to close this last session for the 2021 season just by thanking you for each Monday for leading us off on this call. And we look forward to speaking with you at Media Day this upcoming 2022 season.
No problem. My agent got my bill in the mail.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, man.
Next, we will go to Alabama State.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time to join us on these calls. If you would, start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent victory over Texas Southern.
Yeah, the Hornets played Texas Southern. We finally got back home after over a month. The last time we played here was Arkansas Pine Bluff, which was October the 9th, I believe. So it was really good to get back in our own confines and run out our own tunnel. And, it was a great game. Started off, Texas Southern posed a lot of problems with the quarterback body. He poses a tremendous amount of problems for defense. But we kind of kept him in the box a little bit. I think he threw for over 100 and ran for over 100. Created some explosive plays that kind of put us behind the eight ball. But, our guys kept fighting. It was good to be at home. They kept fighting. They kept clawing. We were down 21-17. Before that, we blocked a punt to go up 17-14. And then they scored and went up 21-14. And we eventually end up scoring. And they missed a field goal at the end. And we ran the clock out with victory. So it was great for our kids to get a win, much needed win for our program, for those kids in that locker room. So we were really thankful for that. But again, Coach McKinney and Texas Southern did a great job, especially with Body at quarterback. He poses a lot of problems.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. Once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, we'll now open it up for questions for Coach Pearson. First question goes to Jean-Jacques Taylor.
Hey, Coach, I was wondering if you could talk about what you think Deion Sanders' impact has been on the SWAC this year.
I think it's been tremendous. It's like Coach Maynor said, there's only one Deion Sanders. We all grew up watching number 21 at Florida State, number 21 Atlanta, the Cowboys, and the 49ers. I think his name just rings so loudly around the country, so whatever he does is going to get noticed and is going to get a lot of attention. So I think especially the media attention he's brought to this league and the caliber of players he's brought to Jackson State. I grew up 1 mile from the Mississippi line, and I grew up on Jackson State football. I grew up on Alcorn, Mississippi football. So what he's bringing to this league is tremendous, and it's only going to get better. Because Deion Sanders, Prime Time, Coach Prime, Coach Sanders, that name ain't going anywhere no time soon.
How has that impacted your program in terms of what you guys have been able to do or what you guys have been able to reference about what Jackson is doing?
Well, the thing is that, once you see the strides that he made in a year, just say a year from the spring, you always try to keep your program at the top because, again, you want to compete for championships and you want to be among the best also. So he forces everyone else is to go out and go recruit. You got to go out and recruit. You got to go get some Jimmys and Joes. You got to go get guys that can compete against him and compete against the Prairie Views and the Alcorns of the world, the FAMUs. And you got to get guys that can really go win and beat them. So the good thing about it is he can't sign all of them, so at least there will be some left over for the majority.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Next question goes to Stephen Gaither.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning.
Awesome. First, just talk about the win. Obviously, you guys, still got another game on the table, but just to get that final SWAC win, coming home under your belt as you guys head out to Tuskegee, looking forward.
That was huge, man. The guys have been battling. The last win we had was Arkansas Pine Bluff, and again we've been on the road. So getting this win was huge for those guys. Kind of take a little the pressure off of them, as they say, get the monkey off your back. And the kids were excited and they kept fighting. And I commend these guys. With the change, and these kids have stayed the course. They bought into what I have tried to get them to understand what we need to do to be successful in these next 4 weeks. And it's kudos to those guys because, the circumstances were not for them, but they battled and continue to play. And we finally got the chips to fall where we needed them to fall.
Gotcha. And then as a follow-up, you talk about the transition and things like that. Obviously, one game to go, but signing day around the corner and things like that. In the situation where you are now as an interim, what's you guys' philosophy on recruiting and, keeping guys engaged that you guys have been engaged with the entire time?
Well, we keep it as normal. And as I've said before, I'm a product of this university. I played here and so did my two older brothers. We all played here. So we're Alabama State people. So I'm going to treat this as if everything is normal. We have already started recruiting. We started identifying kids. A lot of coaches that I coach with from being in the high school circle for 14 years have reached out to me with some really good players. So we're just going on as normal, and we're going to recruit and do the best we can for Alabama State University.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Mo Carter.
Coach Pearson, you guys have the Turkey Day Classic coming up this week against Tuskegee. As you just mentioned, of course, you played at Alabama State. Your brothers played at Alabama State. So you know all about this rivalry between Alabama State and Tuskegee. Can you kind of just talk about your experiences being both a player and now being part of the coaching staff preparing for this big game on Thursday?
Yeah, and Mo, too, because you've been in Montgomery. It's kind of split down the middle, Tuskegee, Alabama State. So it's going to be a crazy game, and it's going to be fun. As a player, when we played Tuskegee, we played those guys. They always came to fight. I can remember in 1990 they had Chris Holder. We, of course, had Eddie Robinson and a couple of other guys on the team. And, Chris Holder was a really good receiver that gave us fits, But Tuskegee is going to always come into Alabama State and play. And now on the other side, as a coach, man, it's like, it's a different kind of pressure on you as a coach than it is a player. I just line up, tie those cleats up and go out and go get it done. But it's going to be a great atmosphere. It's going to be a great game. A lot of Tuskegee flags and a lot of Alabama State flags. It's going to be fun.
And just as a follow-up, of course, Alabama State has still been playing Tuskegee over the last few years, but it was at the beginning of the season. How do you feel about it being right back at the end of the season to cap off the regular season where it's been for many years?
Yes. I know the kids got to get adjusted because the players have been playing them to start the season, but I played them at the end of the season. It was at Crampton Bowl. It was the Turkey Day Classic always. So Tuskegee came in. So for me, it's no big deal. And I told the kids, it's another day at the office. The grass is green, the lines are white. We roll it out and play. Whenever we play them, we play them. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think the kids are just eager to go out and play.
All right. Thanks, Coach Pearson. Good luck this week.
Thanks, Mo. Appreciate it, man.
Coach Pearson, we appreciate your time and definitely appreciate you these last few weeks joining us on our media sessions.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We will go to Alcorn State. Alcorn State coach McNair. Morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you would please just open us up with a statement about your team's most recent outing versus Jackson State.
Well, I thought it was a hard-fought ball game. I thought the kids played extremely hard to the end. There's no quitting this team, and I thought the coach did a great job of play calling and doing things to try to score touchdowns and try to prevent touchdowns as well. So overall, I think the guys they did an exceptional job of coming into this ball game and playing the way it should be played. Great atmosphere, 58,000 people. What better can you ask for as a senior on your way out? So the guy was well prepared, and my hats off to the coaching staff and these seniors that played their final game here in Veteran Memorial Stadium. Be a moment for them to remember. So there's a lot goes behind this rivalry here at Jackson. I think the kids played exceptionally well, and my hats off to Deion for the excitement he bring into that program there in Jackson. So it's been exceptional stuff, man. I can't say enough about the way this rivalry been for the last few decades. It's been great. And they played a great game.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll now open up for questions for Coach McNair. First question goes to Stephen Gaither.
Coach McNair, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Obviously, you guys are used to still playing at this time of the year. But talk about just the atmosphere, at the game there. Of course, it's a rivalry game. You guys have played them before, but the atmosphere this year, you played in big games before, what that was like, just being on the field and for your guys.
I thought it was great for them. Some of the kids haven't played in front of a crowd like that, especially some of the freshmen. They come in and pregame warm-up, and the stadium almost full during pregame warm-up. So just to see their eyes glowing and the excitement that they're having, the fun and things of that nature, playing in front of a big crowd like that, very pleasing to me. Give these young men something to look forward to in the future, especially the freshmen, how this rivalry is and how it's exciting it is to play in front of a big crowd in such a big game and to have an impact on the conference.
And then just to follow up, pivoting from this, obviously, just going forward, the program, how are you feeling about the state of the program, going forward? Obviously, you're going to have some big pieces to replace, but you bring back Nico Duffy and a lot of the other guys that have been important to you guys. What's next for Alcorn State?
The biggest thing is we got to go out and recruit, got to get ready for a mid-year signing and try to bring in some good players to help us continue this program that we have so much success with. So I think the biggest thing is just going out and identifying and finding the players that really want to be at Alcorn State University. So you can go out and find players, but if this is what they want to be here, we will welcome them with open arms. But you have to identify those players that want to be at Alcorn, for one, and make sure that they're good character players. That's going to come in and do what we asked, for one, and just maintain the championship form that we've been in for the last 6 years. So it's been great. I think recruiting will be something special for us to get back out on the road. Normally we plan this part of the year, but we'll be getting out early in recruiting. So that'll be a plus for us, for one. Maybe we'll get a chance to recruit some of these JUCO kids early and get them in the boat with us.
Appreciate it, Coach. Have a good summer.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Hey, Coach, like you said before, normally this time of the year, you guys would be preparing for playing a championship game. But this season it didn't work out for you guys. But in the meanwhile, FAMU made the FCS playoffs, and either Jackson State or Prairie will play in a Celebration Bowl. What does that do to the profile of the conference to have multiple teams playing deep into the season like this?
That's something big. Anytime you get a team going to a bowl game and and also you get a conference team going to the FCS playoff is always big. You know, me and Coach Simmons, we have coached together for about 4 years here at Alcorn before he left, going to Prairie. The biggest thing with him, he always wanted to play in the playoffs. He always wanted to be a playoff caliber team, and that's what he deserved. And, you know, and rightfully so. And that's what he's doing now. And he's always been a guy that wanted to be in the FCS playoffs. So he had his opportunity now. He will make the best of it. He's a great coach and he's a great individual person. He's going to voice his opinion very strongly to what his belief is, and he's doing a good job down there at FAMU.
Yes, so do you think with FAMU making the playoffs that it gives the conference a little bit more respect among the FCS community to maybe in the future have more teams considered for the playoffs?
Anytime you get a team in the FCS playoff, you know, you always have to look and say how well this conference has been built. The commission is doing a great job of putting this conference together, keeping it going, and putting us on a platform with those FBS schools and those high echelon FCS team as well. You know, being on that platform that he got us on now, I think is well deserving. The things that we're doing here in the conference with our great coaches and great players, we deserve that, and it's something that and I just pray that this Coach Simmons just go and make a good impression in the playoffs and win some games, and that's his alternative motive. That's something he always desire, to go out and try to win in the playoffs. So he had that opportunity. I'm very sure that he will make the best of it, the opportunity he have in that playoff game.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Next question goes to Jean-Jacques Taylor.
Hey, Coach, I've been asking all the other SWAC coaches, what do you think the impact Deion Sanders has had on the SWAC this year?
You know, especially for the program up in Jackson, he's done a lot for that program up in Jackson in terms of doing things and bringing in sources to do things for that program. It's been phenomenal for that program. He's been a great coach for that school. You know, for the conference, that the publicity has been brought attention. So, you know, he's doing a lot of great things. Voice his opinion about things that this conference has been needing in their stint. So, you know, the impact he's bringing to this conference has been very, very notable. And the things that he's doing.
I'm sorry. When you had your issue trying to get trainers for your program, and he kind of spoke up about that, is that something that you appreciated?
You know, I didn't contact him about that, but you know, you always appreciate the things that people try and do for you. You know, regardless of the institution, it's obligation to do those things as well. But you know, just speaking up about it, and you know, just saying something about it. You know, I always appreciate things that people say about other programs and what they can help to deal with.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Coach? Any final questions for Coach McNair with Alcorn State? Coach, we really appreciate your time on Mondays on these calls, and good luck this offseason.
All right, thanks, man.
Thank you. Next, we're going to go to Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman head coach Terry Sims. You see Coach there. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you take some time to join us on these calls. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Florida A&M.
Well, not the outcome we wanted, but great atmosphere, electric atmosphere. I thought it was a good football game. We had a couple of instances that I don't think it's easy to come back from or recover from. We had 2 fumbles that went for touchdowns, and we had an interception that went for a touchdown. Anytime you have that happen, it's hard to recover. With momentum, with a lot of different things going on in a game of that magnitude. But I think our guys played hard. I won't take that away from them. We had a few mistakes. We didn't tackle particularly well late in the game, allowing them to get some first downs that we felt like we should have been able to stop them. But you got to take your head off to Coach Simmons and his staff. They had them prepared. They had them ready to go. And those guys came out and made the plays. You know, you have to give credit where credit is due. And they did a great job preparing for us, and their guys did a great job of capitalizing on things that we didn't really come and have our head right in the game for, you know, whether it be the interception for a touchdown, the 2 fumbles for a touchdown. Those are some things that you can't do. But again, take my hat off to those guys. I'm excited about them having an opportunity to go to the playoffs. I think it's great for this conference. And it shows well, you know, for our whole league.
Comments, Coach. We'll now open up for questions. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Currently taking questions for Coach Sims. Coach, obviously this upcoming, you know, off season, you'll hit the recruiting trail. What are some of the areas that you plan to focus on to improve your team?
Well, we have some serious holes to fill. We have to replace 2 offensive linemen that have been around here for a while that have played some great football for us. We got to fill some holes at linebacker in our secondary. So those are places that we have immediate need, and we have to go out and find guys that fit what we do, guys that want to be at Bethune-Cookman University, guys that want to play football here and do it the right way. That's what we have to go out and do, and that's what we're working on, you know, as we speak.
Next question goes to Jean-Jacques Taylor.
Hi, Coach. I was wondering what you thought Deion Sanders' impact has been on the SWAC this year.
I think it's been great. The platform that he has put this league on, I think the things that he has done to bring attention to this league, I think is great. You know, we have a lot more notoriety, you know, from different areas, and you have to give credit where credit is due on that. You know, the SWAC has always been a league that people have known about. I think he just came in and with some of his resources and connections, he just elevated some things. So I think it's been good.
Have you been able to use any of the stuff that Jackson is doing to enhance your program in terms of saying that's what they're doing, so we should be able to do this or that?
No, a lot of that stuff takes money, and you know, you can't just go out and do a lot of the things that they're doing until you go out and you raise those funds, because a lot of the stuff that's happening down there is a lot of his connections. So there are a lot of great things going on down there, but you can't just jump on board and piggyback off everything that's going on with them. I think it's great what he's done for this league, but yeah, you can't just jump and do a lot of that stuff because, you know, the majority of those things take money.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Stephen Gaither.
Good morning, Coach Sims. How are you?
I'm great, and you?
Awesome. Yeah, obviously, first season in the SWAC. Obviously, you played SWAC teams before in previous years. After having a chance to go through the conference, you know, what were your impressions, you know, just of the brand of football that's being played there? Again, as you've had, you know, 3 teams that are nationally ranked at some point in the season and everything like that.
Well, I think it's great brand of football. I think, you know, there are some great football teams in this league, some great football coaches, and it showed week in and week out. You know, you had a battle every week that you stepped on the field, but we wouldn't have it any other way. I'm excited about the future in this league and just ready to get back to work to make sure that we shore up the holes we have in this program on our football team and get this team ready to come back out and compete.
And as a follow-up, we're about a month away from early signing day. Obviously, you know, a lot of times it's skewed towards the bigger schools, but maybe not as much so anymore with the transfer portal and things like that. How do you anticipate you guys, you know, coming out with some signees, you know, in the early signing period, or do you think for you guys it may be more towards the back end?
Oh no, we'll have some guys in early signing periods. We have to get them here for spring ball, so they can start, you know, learning the system and gelling with this team. So there'll be guys that we'll have in here for our early signing period, so they'll be able to compete in the spring.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck in the offseason.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Melvin Bill.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. And you?
I'm well. Coach, talk a little bit about the trajectory of your program going forward. I know a lot of people have talked about recruiting and what have you, but it's been an unusual year for your program. Talk about what it is that you say to others coming into next year, your supporters. Why should they support this program?
Because I have a football team full of resilient young men, and anyone that's watched us play will know that. Anyone that understands the game of football will know that. We're not, running around on the field, getting blown out week in and week out. These young men are playing the game. They're playing the game hard, and they're playing the game the right way. We have had some mishaps, some things that you don't like to happen, but they have never quit. These guys have not quit. They continue to play. And I think anyone that is a true supporter, truly supporting this program and this football team will know that and understand what we have in front of us, and that we definitely have a bright future.
You've seen this Florida A&M team up close and personal. What do you think their chances are? Do they have good chances in these playoffs?
I think so. I think they have a really good chance because they have a stingy defense that they have some depth in, and they also have a creative offense. So and they're solid on special teams. So I think they'll be able to go into the playoffs and hopefully take a few games. And I'm rooting for them to go the whole way. But I think they'll be fine in the playoffs.
Thanks, Coach. Take care.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Mark Gray.
How you doing, Coach? Good morning.
Good morning.
I just wanted to talk for a minute about your perspective on the entire season, because you went through a lot. There was first the pandemic, there was the switch to conferences, there was a new athletic director. I'm not necessarily asking for excuses, but how did those reasons play into the kind of season that we're not accustomed to seeing a team like Bethune-Cookman have traditionally?
Well, I think it's just what you said. It's no excuses. Those are all things that were outside of our control. Those are things that we couldn't worry about. We had to get this team prepared week in and week out, and that's just what we walked in the office every morning with on our minds to prepare this football team to play and to be successful. All the things that happened, there were things that happened, and I'm not going to ever sit back and say, those were reasons. Real life, reality is what it is. But, we have to make sure that we're not using those. And that's what it would be if I said it. It would be an excuse, because then that bleeds over into your football team. And then you allow them reasons to sit back and have excuses about why things didn't happen. We just have to wear this one. We had a lot of losses this year by short margins. You lose the last football game in the fashion we did, we have to wear it. That's just what it is. And that's what men do. You sit and look at what you did wrong and where you can fix it, and you got to come back and be better.
Do you think that the returning players will grow from this?
I definitely know they'll grow from it. We're having exit meetings now, and guys are still in there watching film. So I know we'll grow from it, because these guys around here, they're not, it's not just the Florida Classic. Yeah, that was a big game. It's always going to be a big game. But these guys around here aren't used to losing in this fashion and losing the number of games that we lost this year. So, yeah, they'll grow from it because they don't like the taste in their mouth, and we're not going to be comfortable with it, and we're not going to accept it.
Would you use the term rebuilding or retooling as it relates to moving forward?
Well, I don't know if you want to use either one of those words, because we're not going to rebuild. I think we're just going to fill some holes and have some guys that, we played a number of freshmen Saturday. Guys are going to grow up, and we'll be better for that. There were 13 freshmen, I think, played for us on Saturday night. Those guys will be better next year.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you didn't compete in the spring, right?
No, we didn't.
Okay. By not competing and then going up against teams that were competing during the spring, did they have an advantage? The teams that played in the spring?
I mean, you can look at a coach that played in the spring and he may say he didn't have an advantage because he got guys beat up in the spring. So I think you can look at it, a number of different ways. Would we have preferred to play? Yes. Would we have preferred to have guys, in here early to start camp? Yes. But those are things, again, that we had no control over. So we couldn't sit and worry about it.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Best of luck next season.
Thank you.
Coach Simmons, we appreciate your time and good luck this offseason.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we go to Florida A&M. Head coach, Willie Simmons. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you would, please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Bethune-Cookman.
Well, before I do that, I want to give a huge shout out to our women's volleyball team for bringing home the SWAC championship. A huge accomplishment, first team in family history to win a SWAC championship. So we're very excited about that. But last weekend, Saturday night, was a phenomenal atmosphere. Over 54,000 fans got to witness us break the 9-year losing streak to our in-state rival. And an electric game, game filled with a lot of explosive plays on both sides. And it was a game that was everything was made out to be. Our guys did what needed to be done, and we were rewarded yesterday with an at-large playoff berth in the FCS playoffs. So we're very excited about that. Looking forward to heading down to Hammond, Louisiana to take on Southeast Louisiana. And our guys are hard at work. We weren't ready for our season to be over, so we're glad that we get to extend it. And we're going to try to see if we can do what we did back in 1978, which is win an FCS national championship, which obviously Florida A&M's on the team, HBCU to ever do that. And we're excited about the opportunity to go try to do it again. So thankful to be here and look forward to answering you guys' questions.
Once again, questions for Coach Simmons, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Yes, sorry about that, Coach. I wanted to ask you, you've had a lot of successes in different areas, in different ways through your short career, I would say at this point. Tell me, how did this feel to get this done at this moment, the way that you got it done in terms of getting your win at the Florida Classic, and then a day later getting the announcement about getting into the FCS playoffs?
Well, it's an amazing feeling. Obviously, been a coach for some time, been a head coach now for 7 years, and this one is as sweet as any win I've ever gotten. And just growing up here, knowing the history of this rivalry, knowing the feeling of every Rattler of not being able to celebrate that game for 10 years was just an amazing feeling. And we're glad to get that. We're glad to get that monkey off of our backs. And then as far as the FCS playoffs, again, it's something that we've been striving for all season. Our guys really bought into the playoff mentality after week 3. And so we're really excited about the fact that the committee saw fit to include us in the playoffs. And we're going to go in and do our best to make sure that they know that they didn't make the wrong decision.
Follow-up question I have in regards to preparation for the game on Monday. Have you started watching film? And if you have, what have you saw thus far?
Well, obviously we had to scramble to get back and get out as much film as we could on Southeast Louisiana. And they're as prolific of an offense as you're going to see. They have arguably the top offensive NFL prospect in FCS football and quarterback Cole Kelly, the nation's leading passer. Again, 6'7", 260 pounds, and completes about 74% of his passes. So he's efficient. They go as he goes. And it's going to be a huge challenge for our top-ranked defense to go up against a top-ranked quarterback. So that's the thing that jumps out. And they've been in a lot of close ball games. So we got to get ready for a 6-minute dogfight.
Thank you, Coach. We'll reserve to ask a follow-up question if time.
Next question goes to Jean-Jacques Taylor.
Hey, Coach. We had talked earlier before the season, before the Orange Blossom Classic, and I asked you about Deion. I was wondering, now that you've had a full season, what do you think his impact on the SWAC has been?
It's been tremendous. He's brought much needed awareness to what was already a very strong football league, and I think his presence and his bashfulness, not being afraid to speak his mind, has really, really helped the conference move forward in a positive way. Again, we've been doing great things in this conference for a very, very long time, and we just didn't get the national recognition that we deserved. And so, again, just thankful to have positive influences like Coach Prime. I know he gets a lot of criticisms from some people who may not agree with how he does things, but as a coach who's watched for a long time us get left out of conversations, not have a seat at the table, the fact that we're starting to be there in many regards, I think it's a testament to him and the other people who've gone to bat for us. He's not alone in that fight, but his presence has definitely been a positive influence.
What does Ashley Robinson mean to you?
I'm forever indebted. He gave me my first opportunity as a head coach, and so I'll never forget that. Took a chance on me when nobody else would for that position. And so, just again, he's kind of the head coach whisperer. You look at the fact that he's given me my first job, Coach Prime his first head job, and Coach Dooley his first head job. And one team is playing in the FCS playoffs, and the other two are playing for the SWAC championship. So, not sure if he's up for a raise at Jackson State, but he's probably due one.
Well, he's gonna ask for one anyway.
Knowing him, he probably already has.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Melvin Bill.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Hey, Melvin.
Listen, where is this accomplishment getting into playoffs on your goal trajectory going into the season? Was the goal to win the national championship?
Well, I think every team starts the season with the goal to be champions. And for many SWAC teams, that's not a reality because of certain factors. The Bayou Classic, the Turkey Day Classic, and then the two teams who are fortunate enough to play for a SWAC championship. Those teams are excluded from the potential to go to the FCS playoffs. The other teams are not. And fortunately for us, we did what we needed to do after an early season loss to the eventual East champion, and so we knew that a lot of things had to take place. We felt strongly that Jackson would need to run the table because our strength of schedule will play a part in us getting in that large bid. So, kind of secretly, we were rooting for them to lose twice, or we were rooting for them to win out. It was one of those type of things, and they took care of business and won out. So we're just excited about the opportunity. We're very humble and very blessed. And again, we have unfinished business, so we're going to go in and try to make sure we represent the SWAC in a first-class manner, and show again the committee that they made the right decision to include us in this 2014 field.
Thanks, Coach, and I'd like to wish you and the family a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Same to you.
We'll take another question from Dr. Cavill.
Thank you. Coach, I want to follow up on that theme in terms of the playoffs. Obviously, your academic background in terms of your degree is in marketing. You've been extremely successful in terms of what you've done coaching now. The third week, when did you realize that it was going to be important to speak, for instance, in terms of making sure that you did what was necessarily on, also off the field in terms of presenting the case at a stage? When did that culmination about understanding the need to do that?
About 9:00 p.m. on September 5th, after the loss to Jackson. And honestly speaking, Coach Prime and I talked in pregame, and we can say it now because it both came to fruition, but we said on the 50-yard line that the winner of this game would win the East, more than likely win the East, and the other one would be on the outside looking in. And so we knew after that 1-point loss that we'd have an uphill battle getting to the SWAC championship game. And so I had a conversation with my VP, Athletic Director, Courtney Gaucher, and I said, we need to start the conversation at the appropriate time. It was too premature then. Obviously, we just come off a loss. We weren't ranked. But after the Alabama A&M game, we said, we win this game, then let's start the conversation. And right after that win, we started the conversation nationally. And I think that had a huge impact on us eventually getting in.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Mark Gray.
Good morning, Coach. Congratulations. How are you?
Hey, Mark. Good morning.
I just wanted to know, in a place that knows so much about winning national championships, and you kind of stole my thunder with the, legend of Rudy Hubbard back in the day. But in Florida A&M, one of those unique places that really values a FCS title and a HBCU title, which is the more important to your fan base?
Both are equally important. You know, we have a standard here of excellence, and so we expect to win championships. The one that they'll talk about the most is the one we just won 2 days ago, the Florida Classic. And so they're excited to get that monkey off of our backs, and now they're ready to get behind this program to see if we can win another FCS national title. But whether it's HBCU national championship or in our case, FCS national championship, it's definitely something that our fan base and alumni base expects from us on a yearly basis.
Often it's been said, and you know that from your playing days, that a bowl game and all the trippings that go with it are a reward for the work that you've done all season. How do you look at the FCS playoffs? Is that just down to business? Is it a reward? How do you, I guess, frame it in the context of, postseason accolades, for lack of a better term?
It's all of the above. Obviously, every team aspires to play more than their allotted regular season games. And so whether it's the SWAC championship game, the Celebration Bowl, or FCS playoffs, those added practices will tremendously help our football team. We have a lot of freshmen and redshirt guys that haven't played in many games this year. That's 5 more practices for those guys before we start spring ball, potentially 5 more, so at least 5 more. And so it's great for that aspect. Great to be able to go out and continue to play and hopefully win a national title, something that, again, we're on the school at this level that's done that, So, again, we're excited about the opportunity to go try to do it again.
Now, health-wise, other than the, normal number of bruises and pains that you have at the end of a long schedule, how healthy are you going into this playoffs?
They allow 64. We'll find 64 that can make the trip and give us a chance to be successful.
Hey, thanks a lot, Coach. We'll be watching. Best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll take a final question from Kendrick Marshall.
Hey, Coach, you guys made the FCS playoffs, which is a rarity for the SWAC, and the SWAC also will be part of a bowl game coming up in December. How does that raise the profile of the SWAC by having a team in the postseason and a team playing in the bowl game at the same time almost?
Well, I think it continues to speak to what we said when 2 new teams joined the conference. We felt that we made the SWAC one of the strongest conferences in all of FCS football. We've kind of dubbed ourselves. Many people have. We don't say it. They say that we're the SEC of FCS football. We say we're the SWAC of FCS football because now that carries weight. But the fact, you look at the college football playoff, often years, there are 2 SEC teams that get in because of the strength of their conference and their name recognition. Well, the fact that we have a team that's going to the Celebration Bowl for Black College National title, and then a team going to the 1AA FCS playoffs for an FCS national title really raises the profile of our conference. And I know the SWAC representative for the Celebration Bowl will go in and try to make sure we represent. So good luck to both Prairie and Jackson State in the coming weeks. And I know every team is rooting for us to go in and make some history and try to come out with the FCS crown. So we can be Black College National champs and FCS national champs. I think we'll silence a lot of those critics that say SWAC football isn't what we all have come to know and believe it truly is.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Coach Simmons, once again, congratulations on your team selection to the FCS playoffs and good luck.
Thank you, guys. I'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. All right. See Coach right there. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us on these calls. If you would, please just start us off recapping your last week.
Well, let me start off by saying I want to say congrats to Western Division champions, Prairie, Coach Dooley and the Prairie, his team. I thought they did a great job and one of the better teams. Well, all the teams are pretty good, but I thought they were really tough. One of the tougher teams that we played here this fall season. And then also to FAMU for making postseason, and then Jackson State for winning their side of the conference. I think the SWAC championship game will be a great game. And I think FAMU is going to do a really good job in representing the SWAC in the playoffs. Look, about our game, obviously we lost. Glad to see Mr. Glass graduating, and Coach Maynor and those guys do a good job. They were able to find the holes in the areas that we tried to patch up, and they were able to exploit it. We had some chances early on to keep the game close, and then things busted away at the seams. So, but now it's just on to the offseason now for us.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll now open up for questions for Coach Gamble. First question goes to IC Morrell.
Coach Gamble, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
All good, sir. All good. Look, was there anything about playing into May that made just winning in the fall a complete challenge this season?
As far as, we all have injuries this time of year, and that's just, you start looking at things, what happened, what's not, some of the things we could have done better. And I really don't know. I really think that I go back to not having a year of weight training, strength and conditioning. We didn't, one thing I did look at, we played in the spring. We didn't get our guys back here until really training camp, a couple of weeks before training camp. So we didn't do any weightlifting over the summer, as a team. A lot of the guys did a lot of that stuff at home, but it's still not used to, we didn't do it together with a strength and conditioning staff and really getting pushed. So I think some of those things led to a lot of our injuries, especially when you look at guys with shoulders, shoulder injuries and some thigh injuries as well. So we had multiple things, and we had a ton of injuries that we were not able to overcome. And the other thing I looked at too is, we were afraid in the spring that, if I always thought we instilled it to this day, our starting guys, we can go play against anybody with. But in the spring, if guys got hurt in the spring, we were worried. If this guy go down, who's the next guy up? And that came into play here this fall for us. Everybody who played in the spring was hurt at some point here this fall for us. And the positive part about it is we had to throw some youngins in the deep water in the big pool, and get those guys some experience. So that's about the only positive part about it for us.
With all the injuries that you had, what positions are you going to address the most in recruiting?
Well, we got to address a lot. We got to address a ton, and right now we're going out just to find the best of the best. Obviously we got to find some more secondary guys because we're, we went to this last game without not one starter in the secondary. So we got to replace all of those guys, and now you're talking about Solomon Brooks, JT Thigpen, Paul Reeves, Andre Fuller, all those guys. So we got to find a crew, we play some youngins over there as well as some offensive guys on that side. And it just, it held up for a while, but not very long. So we got to find some dudes.
Yeah. And if I may squeeze in this third and last question here, FAMU, first time in the years that I've covered SWAC football, this is my fifth, a team from the SWAC is going to the NCAA playoffs, and FAMU deservedly so. Should FAMU getting into the NCAA playoffs lead to a change in the FCS landscape to where maybe every conference can have a championship game, and then after all the championship games, then have an NCAA selection where you select your teams and have automatic qualifiers, things of that nature? That way every year the SWAC can have a team, and maybe their champion or whatnot go into the tournament and for all the conferences.
Well, I see you went on. I'm sure I'm not a long-winded guy, and so I can't give long-winded answers as well. But I know one thing: they got a good FCS Pro playoffs. Got a good one coming from our conference. FAMU they're gonna do really well because they're really good in all three phases of the game. And they're gonna play just as good as defense against anybody that you're probably gonna see. So they'll do well. They'll do well.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Coach Gamble, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing well. Wanted to ask you, I'm sure you do team evaluations, but do you do self-evaluations? And if you do both of them, can you talk a little bit about how you go about doing that process?
Yeah, I evaluate what we're doing every day, and every week. And so we just don't wait till we get to this point to start doing evaluations, so it's just like in a game, if you wait to halftime to make adjustments, and then the game might be over. So You got to do things every day, every week. And then when you get to this point, you got to make some decisions. So, but everything's always evaluated, and we know where, I know where our areas of improvement need to be, of course, and we got some holes we got to get filled, and we're going to get those filled, and the corrections that we need to get corrected is, was already in play, but there's only so much you can do. But now we got to really spend this off season and shoring those things up.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Next question goes to E. Taylor.
Hey, how you doing, Coach?
Good. How you doing, E?
I'm making it, man, making it. You mentioned earlier about, having to plug some of those young guys in on really on both sides, and that started really from, week one, just about.
That's right.
How do you feel about overall about how those guys did as the season progressed?
I think that we got some young talent. We got some talented guys now, it's just you could be talented but still young. The youth part of it had come into play, and even with your transfers, sometimes it's the transfers that we got. They didn't get here till summertime, until right at training camp. So they've had to adjust as well. I do think we got some guys that we can go play with, but we got to add some more to it. And to where a point of when your best guy go down, the next guy in can be just as good. So that's what we got to get to.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah.
Any final questions for Coach? Final questions for Coach Gamble with Arkansas Pine Bluff. All right, Coach, as always, we appreciate your time this season on these calls, and good luck this offseason.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Coach there. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, appreciate you take some time to join us. These calls, obviously, Coach, a bye week for your program. So if you could just start us off with an opening statement, just kind of recapping your bye.
Man, just wanted to really focus on this week, getting some guys healthy, going out and having a good 3 days of practice this week, and also making sure these guys finish up strong in the classroom. They had finals this week, so we wanted to make sure that every guy had an opportunity to finish up strong before they left for the holidays and for their final grades. And that's about it.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We're now going to open up for questions for Coach. Once again, questions, please use the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. First question goes to Stephen.
Coach Dancy, how you doing this morning?
Doing good. How you doing?
Awesome. Obviously, game coming up this week, and we can talk about that for sure. But I know you signed a contract extension the other day. Just talk about what went into that decision, and just staying with this and staying with this program, because there are a lot of people that are higher on you, and there are a lot of jobs that are open. But why was it important for you to stay at Valley?
Just wanted to, at the end of the day, finish what I started here. I have a great class coming up next year, but also wanted to make sure and let these players know, of course, there transfer portals out there, and I know there's a lot of rumors out there, but I wanted to make sure I let these guys know that I was locked in and ready to start what we finish here at Mississippi Valley, but also wanted my coaches to know that at the end of the day, we started something, we're going to finish something here. But all of that played a factor in me, signing that extension, and just wanted to, move forward. At the end of the day, I'm here at Mississippi Valley. There's a lot of rumors out there, but this is where I want to be.
Thank you. And as a follow-up, obviously, again, you guys have made strides this season. In the spring, you guys had some games and you were close and you couldn't break through. You've broken through and gotten some wins. What would it mean for you guys, for the program to go out on top? Again, obviously, Prairie View, they got, another game. They may be overlooking you guys or what have you, but just talk about your program, what a win would mean for you guys.
I want to finish up strong. That's the thing about it. We start something, we want to finish it. 4 wins here. It's been a long time since we had 4 wins. So we talked to these. We met this morning, and our guys know what it means to not only us but the program in itself. to finish strong and get those 4 wins here at Mississippi Valley State. Haven't had 4 wins in over a decade. So we want to make sure we finish up strong, end the season out the right way so we can move into the off season on a good note.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Jean-Jacques Taylor.
Hey, Coach, I was wondering, what's your thoughts on Deion Sanders' impact on the SWAC this season?
Not only this season, I thought he once he came into the conference, he put a lot of eyes and a lot of spotlights on our conference. So he's been doing a great job of marketing this conference and making sure that he's not only just representing, Jackson State, but he's representing the whole conference and making sure that everybody understands that SWAC ball is great football. We can compete with anybody in FCS, and most of these guys in this conference can compete, with some of these FBS schools. So I thought he done a good job of coming in and making sure not only just for his school, but for all of our university, just make sure he get the word out that that the SWAC conference is strong.
Have you been able to use the stuff that he's doing at Jackson to help your program in any way?
What you mean by that question?
In terms of, he's got a training table there, so maybe you can say, hey, what can we do? Whether it's training table, uniforms, or equipment, or facilities, or anything. I know it takes money, but have you been able to open some conversations because of what they're doing at Jackson State?
Well, at the end of the day, what they doing over there at Jackson State is totally different than how we do things here, but overall speaking, yes, we always talking. We always have those things on the table in order for us to take another step forward. That was one of the reasons why I stayed committed here. We got some things on the table that we work with in the future, and to help Mississippi Valley State out and make this future bright here at this university.
Thanks.
Next question goes to Melvin Bill.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Well, you spoke about the SWAC's impact on the FCS. How do you think Florida A&M will fare in these playoffs, the FCS playoffs?
Oh, man, I've said all along, at the end of the day, they one of the best teams in all of FCS. From the roster, from their roster, they're super talented on both sides of the ball, especially defensive. I think they can compete with any of these schools that made the playoffs. Coach does a great job with that team, and looking forward to seeing those guys in the playoffs and compete and advance. And at the end of the day, I think they can compete. I think they deservedly of their spot in the playoffs, and so I'm looking forward to see them represent the SWAC conference very well.
Thanks, Coach.
Currently taking questions for Coach Dancy with Mississippi Valley State. Coach, obviously, when you look at Prairie View A&M on film, what are some of the things and individuals on their team that stand out?
They're super talented, on both sides of the ball. Also, in all 3 phases of the game, their offense, they have a prolific offense. They spread you out and throw the ball. Throw the ball very well. They got a good running back, but also, the quarterback, he could go, man. And they have receivers that can go get the ball. But yeah, they just an impressive team. Their record speak for itself. And like I said last week, Coach Dooley done a great job of getting this team prepared and ready. And that's why they're the SWAC Western Conference champions, because they can play at a high level. And you just have to be prepared on both sides of the ball. Their front is good on the defensive line, and offensively they're led by a high-powered, QB who can make all the throws. So we just got to go out and execute at a high level, make sure that we limit their possessions on offense and play good and sound defensively football.
Any final questions for Coach? All right, Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time to join us on these calls, and good luck this week.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next, we'll be joined by Prairie View A&M head coach here, Dooley. I do see Coach there. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great, Coach. As always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, First off, congratulations on claiming the West. If you could please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing at Texas A&M.
Okay, I like to say thank you for reaching out, saying congratulations. But I also like to congratulate Coach Simmons. Did a great job with that program, and they had an opportunity now to continue on in the FCS playoff and represent our conference. And I like to say congratulations to Coach Sanders for getting his team prepared to play in our SWAC championship game. But most of all, I like to say last week, our guys went out and competed. No question about it. We played a great football team, but I thought our guys represented our conference in a good way. The score would never indicate that, but just the magnitude of the way that our team played and fought for 60 minutes. So just want to go out there, and now we just got to prepare for a good Mississippi Valley football team coached by Coach Dancy. I know those guys will be prepared and ready to play, and our team will be ready for that challenge.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We're up for questions for Coach Dooley. First question goes to James Hill.
Morning, Coach. How are you, sir?
Good morning. How are you doing? Well.
Pretty good. When you look at your Prairie View football team going forward down the stretch, can you just talk a little bit about continuing to play at a high level, and it's all about getting better every Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely. That's our thing. We don't look ahead. We just play football. We are more, want to be involved with what we need to do right now. What's important right now? That's the acronym that we use, the WIN acronym. What's important now? Right now, we have a game that's going to be challenged for our seniors this coming Saturday. So we're moving forward, but we're doing some great things, and I like where our team is at right now.
Thank you, sir. Good luck going forward, and congratulations on all of your success, and have a great holiday.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
Good morning, Coach. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Great. I wanted to ask this question in terms of what is the unique challenge of preparing for this Mississippi Valley State football team, knowing that the SWAC championship is next week. I know your philosophy is spot football, but how do you go about the preparation of film work this week in addition to looking at what you have next week?
Okay, here's the thing that's a great question. I'll say that word again, win. What's important now? What's important right now? Mississippi Valley. We play them Saturday. That's a very, very important game for us as a program. So the thing that we like to do, you talk about a Mississippi Valley team that understand how to win. A Mississippi Valley team that's playing exciting football right now. They have a very stingy defense as well, a very exciting defense, offense that can score points as well. So when we talk about that, we just got to be prepared and be up for the challenge. No question, it's going to be a great football game.
Sure thing. Appreciate that, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing well. Congratulations on the Western Division in terms of this year. I wanted to ask you about how the evaluation on the Texas A&M game you do after every game. Is it any different in terms of how you evaluate players after that game, or do you use something else in your evaluation based on the perceived talent difference?
No, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to be, to me, we look at every team the same way. We understand the huge challenge that we were up against, but, our thing is we want to be able to execute in all three phases of the game. We want to play sound football, and we want to play disciplined football, but we want to be fast and physical. So we're going to do the same type of evaluation regardless of who we play and where we play.
Follow-up question on Mississippi Valley State in regards to that matchup. Have you got a chance to look at film? And with that being said, what are some of the things that you want to get done against the Delta Delta?
Well, we're going to play a great defensive football team, but more importantly, we're going to play a good football team. We talk a lot about their defense, but I think in all three phases, they're doing some great things down there. Coach Dancy have done a great job, and rightfully so. I like to congratulate him on getting the extension on his contract. It's well deserved. So we know we're going to face a team that's going to be hungry to win, that want to win out, and we just got to play our brand of football and play for 60 minutes. And they bring a huge challenge to us. And but I said that all year long. The Southwestern Athletic Conference have a lot of great football coaches as well as a lot of great football teams. So we just got to play football for 60 minutes.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach, I've been asking this question to some coaches this morning about the significance of having a SWAC team in the playoff and having a SWAC team, either you guys or Jackson State, playing in a bowl game. How does that kind of elevate the status of the league to have that situation?
I think it's great. You know, it gives something that I've been saying all the while, that the Southwestern Athletic Conference played exciting football, played great football, have a lot of great football players within the conference. So I think it helps us out for us on being on the big stage in the FCS playoff, and then have an opportunity to represent the conference in the Celebration Bowls. So I think it's doing a great job with our commissioner, who has been doing a great job with our conference. It speaks well, speak volume. I could say high volume.
So what would it mean for you guys to play in the Celebration Bowl if you were to advance that far?
Right now, the most important thing right now is Mississippi Valley. We're looking forward to playing this game this Saturday here. Those things are great, but right now we have to focus on playing and facing a great Mississippi Valley football team, and we'll have our team prepared to play.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Jean-Jacques Taylor.
Hey, Coach, I was wondering what Ashley Robinson means to you.
Great deal. You know, guy that gave me my first opportunity. No question about it. Always been there for me. He's mean a lot to me. You know, great family, great individual. So it means a lot. I couldn't put it in words what he has done for me, giving me the opportunity to be sitting in this chair right now. So it means a lot to me.
And secondly, what do you think Deion Sanders' impact has been on the SWAC?
Well, you know, our conference have been doing, I've been involved in this conference for over 30, for many years. I don't want to put the number on the years that I've been involved in, and I've been doing a lot of great things. I think he's doing some great things to help his program. And, you know, and when you think about it, it helped the conference in a great way. But this conference has been a great conference for years now. Other folks are telling our story. So we want to be able to tell our own story as well. But I think it's been a great impact.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach? Final questions for Coach Dooley with Prairie View A&M. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time and look forward to speaking with you next week for our championship media session.
Thanks.
Thank you. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, appreciate your flexibility there, joining the call a little bit early. Obviously, we have some shifts in the schedule just because of some press conferences going on with the Bayou Classic. So we do appreciate you being flexible. But with that being said, Coach, could please just kind of start us out recapping last week for us.
Yeah, tough road loss at Alabama State this past weekend, kind of how our season has gone throughout the year. Very winnable game, but we don't make a play or two here or there and cost ourselves the game. So kudos to those guys at Alabama State on a tough, hard-fought win. But it didn't work out for us this past week.
Appreciate those comments, Coach McKinney. We'll now open it up for questions. First question goes to James Hill.
Coach McKinney, I hope you and the guys are well. Can you just talk about going forward, the direction of your football program? And again, student athletes get an opportunity to earn an education, but just talk about the off-season portion as you get into spring football and after the holidays.
Yeah, off-season, you know, we're going to evaluate our program and see what needs to be done to improve going forward. Our guys are going to get in the weight room and start lifting and going through meetings and getting prepared for our upcoming season. upcoming spring ball as well as the upcoming season. It's the part that a lot of people don't see, but it's where the championship programs are built and developed at, and that's what we're looking forward to.
Coach, can you talk about the renewed spotlight on HBCU athletics, in particular HBCU football? It's been around since the 1800s, but all of a sudden everybody is looking to really experience HBCU football. From a coach's perspective, what do you see?
It's been great. Just the exposure, the ability to go out and recruit at a high level, and people just being a lot more interested in HBCU football and giving us access to the top athletes throughout the country.
Thank you, sir. Have a great holiday and a great day.
Thank you. You do the same.
Next question goes to Stephen Gaither.
Coach McKinney, how are you doing today?
Good. How's it going, Steve?
Awesome. Obviously, season behind you and you're looking forward, but talk about your quarterback, Andrew Body. He's on the list for the Jerry Rice Award, top freshman at FCS football. Just talk about him in this season and his growth and what has you excited about him going forward.
His well-deserved award for him to be a finalist for the Jerry Rice Award. The kid just got here in August, had to learn a totally new system within a matter of weeks, and we didn't think he was ready for our first game, but we eventually decided to start playing him in the second game. And he just, he's like a sponge. He learned the offense. He's a tremendous talent. He's going to be a great leader, and we're just excited to have him. We think the future is very bright with him being our leader.
And then also talking about the future, obviously, the first signing day of the year will be coming up soon. How involved do you guys anticipate being in that? You anticipate bringing in, a solid number of guys then, or are you kind of more hedging your bets now towards the second signing day and just, the way that the landscape has changed with that sign?
We've targeted guys that we'd like to recruit and without giving everything away, some guys will target to sign early, and other guys will wait until February. So it doesn't matter to us when they sign. What matters to us is that we sign the right guys that help us improve the football team.
Got it. Appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Coach McKinney, how's it going this morning?
Good. How's it going, Dr. Cavill?
Pretty good. Wanted to go back to the Alabama State in terms of calling in the fourth quarter, in terms of going forward on your side of the ball. Was that a message that you wanted to send to you in regards to saying, hey, this is the time we can get this yard, let's get it done?
Yeah, it was a decision that was made. We've practiced that play the entire season. Just felt like if we could get a yard, we could control the clock and win the game. And the call was made based on trying to win the game. It just didn't work out that way.
No doubt. And you still had a chance later part of the game to win it and ultimately tie it with the field goal, going off the bar, telling you how close it was. You also had a play that led to having to be 5 yards back where you trying to get them offside. Looked like it was a pretty close call. It didn't go your way. Talk about coming in the game and how you get through that.
Well, we practice a play where we tried to get the guys, their defense to jump off sides. We felt like the call was made. It didn't go in our favor. But our kicker, Richard Garcia, has a very strong leg. We put him out there, from 45 to 50 yards and feel good about it. And he had the distance, just wasn't accurate with it. And it's a game of inches. And we were inches away from tying that ball game with the kick.
Coach, good luck the rest of the season and the off season as you move the program forward.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach McKinney with Texas Southern. Coach, obviously we talk about the off season. When you look at, going out and hitting the recruiting trail, just kind of some of the areas that you plan to emphasize on to improve your team.
Definitely want to improve our defense. We're losing some really good guys, pass rushers, guys within our defensive line. So we've got to shore up that area of the ball, as well as our linebacking group. And then after that, we're looking at just the best players we can bring in here that can help us get over the hump.
Any final questions for Coach? Coach McKinney, we really appreciate you joining us on these media sessions this season, and good luck during the offseason.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Next up, we're going to go to Southern. We're actually going to be joined by Coach Pugh with Southern University. He'll be stepping in for Coach Rollins. I do see Coach Pugh is with us. Morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, really appreciate you stepping in and filling in for Coach. If you could, just kind of start us out with an opening statement, kind of recapping the team's bye this past week.
This past week, we had a tremendous week of practice, being able to get a lot of our team healthy. A lot of after the stretch run that we just took place for our football team, and so many big games that were one possession throughout the game, it takes a toll on a football team for sure. And I think that we used the bye week, and Coach Rollins led the charge in making sure that our football team is healthy, focusing on us as a football team, and continuing to develop our program and our team as we get ready for the Bayou Classic.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We're now going to open up the floor for questions for Coach Pugh. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Pugh, I hope you're well. It's James Hill with BNC Sports. It's time for the Bayou Classic. Can you talk about the thought process going in? You'll head into the Dome. Last year it was played in Shreveport, but now it's back in New Orleans, and everyone looks forward to this event. Just talk about it from your perspective as a coach at Southern.
Well, the excitement level is already building, I think, as the campus and everyone in the city of Baton Rouge and the Southern Jaguar Nation is excited, I think, first and foremost, to be back in the Dome for the Bayou Classic. And we as coaches certainly are as well. It's going to be an exciting weekend. Thursday, you've got the Saints and the Falcons play on Thursday night. You've got Battle of the Bands on Friday, and then the Classic on Saturday. And, we're looking forward to the opportunity and the challenge to go out and finish this season strong. And sometimes it's not always how you start, but how you finish. And Coach Rollins has really led this team and in a way that is motivating to us as coaches to go out and take pride in this game. And it certainly means so much to so many people across the state of Louisiana for sure.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to Mark Gray.
Good morning, Coach. I wanted to know, you've been playing like a 2-quarterback system all year. Do you have any idea who's going to start or what's going to dictate that decision?
Well, the quarterback decision will be a game time decision for us, and there'll be a lot of thought that goes into that. Not necessarily looking to create a 2-quarterback system in that regard, but sometimes different things that come up throughout the game, throughout a season, allows you to do that as an offense. I think it's allowed us to stay balanced and use it to our advantage, obviously, to gain an edge going into football games.
You talked about the excitement, and I know what this game means to the people, the culture of Louisiana. Yet you guys have been through so much during this fall, away from football, the hurricane and all that kind of stuff. What's it going to mean, not necessarily just in terms of the rivalry, but just for people to get back out in Louisiana and starting to get back to some semblance of normalcy. The Bayou in Shreveport was great, but it wasn't like being in New Orleans. I'm just wondering, does this represent a semblance of normalcy to the fan bases and the people of your community?
Without a doubt. We've had tremendous support all year long from our fans and had great attendance at our home games as we've come back and continued, like you said, not just as a program and as a university, but also as a state of Louisiana, all the adversity that we've been through in the last year, whether it's the COVID-19, then as soon as football season's on the horizon, this football team and this community here in Baton Rouge and New Orleans are hit by a hurricane. And so sometimes it feels like adverse things just keep stacking on top of one another, but there's definitely an excitement and a semblance of normalcy here as we get ready to go back to New Orleans and be in the Superdome and the excitement and just the pageantry of college football. This is the heart of it. This is why these young men work so hard, our players, us as coaches, and everyone involved in this football program and athletic program here at Southern University for opportunities like this on a national stage to go out and compete in a classic, especially one that means so much to the people of Louisiana. But yes, I do think that getting back to a sense of normalcy, this is the first step in that process. And we certainly look forward to the Superdome being packed.
One last question. When you look at Grambling on TV, certainly on both sides of the football, what are their greatest strengths? What's the biggest challenge that you guys are going to face from a game planning and executing standpoint in order to win this game?
Well, I think first offensively for us, they're a very good defense. I think that, they rank tops in the conference in takeaways, interceptions, fumbles. I would say that the best way to describe their defense is controlled chaos. Coach Everett does a great job motivating his young men to play, and they play within their system and have played solid defense for a long time. And we expect that from them. It's going to be a competitive game, and it's going to take 4 quarters for us offensively. I think that's the goal for us, is to finish. We've had a few games here lately where we've started out well, but we hadn't finished. So we've got to do that because we've shown that we can. And that's for us offensively the challenge facing Grambling's defense. Offensively for Grambling and for our defense, very multiple from them. They're going to give you a lot of formations. They're going to give you a lot of scheme. And I think for us on defense, it's getting 11 hats to the football, playing sound assignment football for us. I know those guys on defense are going to play their tails off, and it should be fun. And same thing for special teams. It's 6 to 8 seconds of unbelievable effort, getting down the field, covering kicks, making returns, making smart decisions in the return game like we have all year. And so for us, I think being able to protect the football on offense and create takeaways on defense and gain an advantage in the special teams is certainly keys to this game for us.
Thanks a lot, Coach. See you in New Orleans.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to Melvin Bill.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Coach, if you could, can you assess Florida A&M's chance in the playoffs? They are made the playoffs representing the SWAC. What's your assessment of this Florida A&M team?
Well, after having seen them just a couple of weeks ago live and in color, they're a good football team. Coach Simmons and Florida A&M have done a great job this season. They're traveling right down I-10 for a game in Southeastern. And so, I think it's a great representation of the SWAC and what this conference has been able to accomplish this year. And I think use it as a stepping stone, again, for this conference to continue to be at the forefront. And, congratulations to them. He's got a good football team. And, as everyone, I think everyone in the SWAC is pulling for them to do well.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning.
Coach, what, if any, is the impact of Broderick Fobbs not coaching this Grambling team anymore in terms of preparation changes or looking for a team that may be highly motivated to take on Southern to win this Bayou Classic?
For us at Southern, I think that Coach Rollins talks about it every week. It's about us at Southern. You know, fortunate for Coach Fobbs that he's no longer there as the head coach. I know that he had accomplished many great things for Grambling and during his time there. And I would expect for us to see a very motivated team. You know, this game means so much and it's so much more than us as coaches. It's about these young men having an opportunity on a national stage to go out and compete and go out and be themselves, you know, and to put their brand on the field and represent their families and most importantly, represent their universities on a national stage.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Any final questions for Coach? Coach, once again, we appreciate you stepping in and good luck this week.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you. Next, we're going to be joined by Coach Graves with Grambling State. You see Coach there. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, definitely appreciate you taking some time to join us on our call. If you would, Coach, obviously just kind of start us out recapping your past week.
First, let me say my name is Terrence Graves. It's spelled with 3 E's and 2 R's. There's no A in my name, so whomever needs that for the proper spelling, let me correct that. My mother did that because she wanted me to be different. Now to the question. This week has been a roller coaster. Last week has been a roller coaster of emotions, probably on Monday. You know, it's unfortunate that Coach Fobbs is not going to be coaching this game, and guys and as well as the coaches were a little down. But then on Tuesday, we got there and we got back to work. The energy was good. Guys were locked in. They flew around. You know, we've had a really good week of practice. Guys are locked in, and they came back yesterday ready to go as well.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We're now going to open up for questions for Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Coach Graves, I hope you and everybody at Grambling are well. This is a big game for you guys coming up, obviously. Can you just talk about leading your team into the Dome, the rivalry, Bayou Classic, just the legacy and everything that comes with it?
Oh, yeah. You know, it's great to first, I'm blessed and honored and humbled to be able to have the opportunity to represent the G-Men of Grambling State University. It is a tremendous game, the 48th annual Bayou Classic back in New Orleans, Grambling versus Southern. It doesn't get any better. I've been fortunate to be a part of 23 of the 48 Bayou Classics to be played. And, you know, as the leader of the program, I'm excited. My guys are excited. We're fired up and we're ready to go.
Can you reach back and talk about Coach Rob and also even a Coach Cassim, and as we think about this wonderful HBCU experience?
Well, both men, both legends are great. Had the utmost respect for them. They really mentored me when I came in as a young coach in this conference. Coach Robinson was the head coach, of course, at Grambling State University. Coach Cassim was the athletic director at Southern University, where I was started coaching under legendary coach, my coach, Coach Pete Richardson. So those two men are giants in college football, not just HBCU football, but college football in itself. They did a tremendous job of really promoting the game, the SWAC, the Bayou Classic. So, you know, it's just a great feeling to know them, to have known them, and to know what they mean to this game.
Thank you, sir. Safe travels. Have a blessed week and enjoy the football game inside the Dome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Melvin Bill.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning.
Listen, you guys face Florida A&M and Tallahassee, and obviously going into the playoffs. How do you think the Rattlers will do in those playoffs?
Well, I think Florida A&M should do a really good job. They're hitting on all cylinders. They're well coached. They do a great job. Coach Willie Simmons is a friend of mine, and he's done a tremendous job getting that program back on its feet and back in the playoffs. And I think that they're a formidable foe for any opponent. You know, I know they open up with Southeast Louisiana, I believe, and I think they have just as good a chance of winning and going far in the playoffs as any team.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Next question goes to Mark Gray.
Coach Graves, good morning. I was just wondering, you said that it's been a roller coaster of emotions for you guys. Take me into some of what kind of emotions the kids have been feeling, especially when, you know, the guy that brought the senior class in is no longer with you guys, and how they've been learning from this experience.
Well, Monday evening was the emotional day for everybody. And then, as I said, on Tuesday, guys pretty much, they got locked in and they got ready to go. And like I said, when I walked in the locker room on Tuesday, those guys were fired up. They were focused. They were ready to go. I spoke with the seniors. The seniors expressed how they felt. But they said, "Hey, Coach, you know, we with you. We got you, and we're gonna ride with you, Coach." So that's where the emotional roller coaster going from being sad to back to, "Hey, let's get ready to go."
This is the most unique Bayou Classic ever, given that you guys played in Shreveport in April, and you playing now here in November in New Orleans. Have you seen a difference in the way when you look at tape that Southern is approaching the X's and O's from the last time you faced, I guess, about 6-8 months ago?
Well, you know, they've made some changes, but I mean, the system is the system, and they're doing a good job of executing their system on both offense, defense, and special teams. You know, I don't know how many programs would just change an entire system over 6 to 8 months in a year. I think that when you have a system, you have the same coaching staff and coordinators in place, you do more with tweaking your system than, you know, changing things. And they have some excellent players that, you know, we got to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do to make sure that we give ourselves the best chance to be victorious.
And what have you guys got to do in order to play a complete enough game to beat them Saturday?
We got to execute. Can't turn the ball over. Can't give up big plays. We got to play well on special teams. And we definitely got to execute the game plan for the length of the football game. That greatly increases our chances of being successful.
And about the defensive end on Southern, who's been garnering a lot of attention, what kind of dilemma does he present to you all in terms of his ability to get after your quarterback?
He's a great football player. Certainly, when you get great football players, you have to make sure that you're paying attention to them. If you paid attention to the Cowboys game yesterday, the defensive end, Jones, really had a monumental day against them. So what you have to do is that you have to make sure that you know where he is at all times, and, you know, make sure you do a great job of trying to protect him. I don't know if you ever slow down great players. You just try to control them.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Coach Graves, good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. How you doing?
Good afternoon.
Coach, from special teams and linebackers position standpoint this weekend, will you continue to handle those duties on the field?
Yes.
Okay. And in terms of I mean, I know you probably would, but in terms of the added responsibility you have as interim head coach for just this week's time, how much has it changed for you in terms of, delegating responsibilities and also what you have to take on in terms of clock management, in terms of sideline delegation, in terms of just controlling the entire atmosphere of the game from the head coaching standpoint?
Well, it's been. I told my family, I said it's really been a challenge this week wearing two hats or three hats actually, but I'm built for this, and so we have a great staff. We have a veteran staff. The thing that's really good about the defensive staff is that all the coaches on the defensive staff have been defensive coordinators on the college level. So to have that much experience, they make it easy for me in terms of when I have head coaching responsibilities that take me away from a linebacker meeting or a special teams meeting. They filled in the gaps in those areas. And, those guys, we've already talked about who's going to, do what in terms of special teams, in terms of sideline control and things of that nature, so that I'll be freed up to be able to manage the game on both sides as well as the kicking game.
And from a different perspective, besides knowing the correct spelling of your name, what should we know about Terrence Graves that we may not know that we'll get to know this weekend? Because normally during a broadcast, there will be things that will be brought to the forefront that we don't normally know, and especially this weekend, they have to do their homework for this broadcast in terms of knowing about Terrence Graves.
Terrence Graves is a Norfolk, Virginia native. A lot of people think that I'm from Louisiana because I've spent probably half my life in Louisiana. A Winston-Salem State graduate. I played for Coach Pete Richardson, of course. And I am a very emotional, a very fiery football coach, and they don't know about that. But I also do it under control. I'm a people person. I love to laugh. And I love coaching and developing young people.
Hey, Coach, finally, from that perspective, you seem to have a lot of enthusiasm about what you're doing. How much do you relish this opportunity, even if it's just for one game?
Oh, it's a blessing. I mean, God put me in this position for a reason. And like you said, even if it's for one game, I'm going back to most of it. I've been doing this 28 years, 26 years in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, one in MEAC, one in the CIAA. I've been prepared for this. This is my second time being an interim head football coach. Of course, I was there at Mississippi Valley State in an interim position before they hired Coach Combergy. So I've learned from a student assistant at Winston-Salem State University all the way up to the interim head football coach at Grambling State University. So, I'm just ready. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. As I told my players and coaches, I'm not a substitute teacher. I'm here. So I'm prepared. And when you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So I'm ready to go.
Hey, Coach, thanks a lot for the comment and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Coach Graves, we really appreciate you taking some time to join us, and good luck this week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
How's everyone doing?
Good morning, Coach.
Good day. God bless everyone.
Coach, good morning to you. And as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Alcorn State.
First and foremost, it was an honor and a pleasure to play opposite of Coach McNair. To me, he's one of the best, man, in HBCU, one of the best coaches, period. Forget HBCU. He's one of the best. And I really admire him a lot. A couple of years ago, when my son was being recruited by Southern Miss, we went on a visit and they were playing against them. And I made it a point to go in their locker room and meet this gentleman because of how much admiration that I have for him. But to compete against those guys, they were tough, they were disciplined, man, and they played their butts off. Thank God we were victorious, but it was a great game. We played well defensively as usual. We gave up maybe a couple plays that we shouldn't have. We gave up the deep ball, I'm sure of that. Offensively, we started off slow as normal. Really didn't have a running game, but we made the plays when we had to make plays. It was phenomenal game, phenomenal contest. Blew my mind seeing our people unite under, in one setting. It was just driving to the game was spectacular to me. It was so spectacular seeing all, and it was like around 10 o'clock. Shoot, I mean, you had to get there early, and people were parking everywhere. It was so spectacular to me. It's something that I would never forget.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. First question goes to Charles Bishop.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
What's going on, boss man?
Hey, I wanted to ask a very unique situation with regards to the number of seniors this past weekend, Senior Day. But just talk about this class and how they've sort of or reset the foundation for Jackson State football. A lot of new faces that have come in and have really turned things around for Jackson State.
Well, I think it was around 70 players that got up out of here. That's the reason we were able to bring in the people that we needed. And some of those seniors, I allowed the seniors to speak on Friday night, just anything they wanted to share in their hearts. And some that were here previously talked about not winning and that feeling, and now the feeling that they have right now, and the feeling of them having some importance, the way we travel, the way we do things, the professionalism that we display, and the guys that we brought in that are our seniors. They came here with one thing in mind. We said, we just want you to believe. Just believe what we're telling you, believe what we're teaching you, just believe what the culture that we're changing. And they have. And the rest is historical.
Sure thing. And follow up on that, post-game, you gave Coach Flea an opportunity to say some words in regards to this season. What has Coach Flea and this staff sort of meant to you this past season?
Coach Flea, that's my dog. I love him, and I admire him, and I appreciate him so much. What he brings to me, you would never know. And I can remember some things in the spring he just whispered to me on the sideline that made sure I refocused. And for me to have a guy like that in my absence, I felt good. That's the best stepdaddy my kids could ever have. he really is. And easing me back in, he's guided me and eased me back and made sure, I'm strong and I got my strength and I'm ready and I'm capable and I'm me. So I love him to life. And what he's brought to us this year has been unbelievable. He's truly an asset.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
My man.
Next, we'll take a question from Jean-Jacques Taylor.
What's up, my friend?
You got big timers on here. Jesus, we must be winning. We must be winning.
Hey, man, how did you and Ashley go from boss employee to friends, brothers?
Ashley pursued me when I didn't even fathom this. And he called, and he did his homework. He would call and say things like, how did Bossy play? Well, how you know I call my daughter Bossy? In basketball season, how many points she dropped last night? How did Grown do? How do you know I called Shador Grown? He did things that, and it was on point and on his game that endeared me to him. And we have such a wonderful relationship that we've learned so much from one another. It's unbelievable. And it's really a great match. I think the SWAC could definitely learn, because there's always some bull junk. It's going to be the coach and the AD, the coach and somebody's going to be some bull junk going on somewhere. Y'all know that. I ain't saying nothing that's new. But here, me and Ashley, man, I just checked on him then. I just texted my AD. He know what that means. That means, how you doing? What's up? Where you at? He's coming back from the volleyball tournament. He's on his way back, because I got to sit down and have dinner with my man so we can prepare. See, we always thinking ahead, so we trying to prepare for what's next.
What's the one thing you learned from him this year?
We can do whatever we want to do. We can do whatever we want to do. It just has to be done in certain ways, but we can do it. I give you an example. Say, for instance, we had a budget in the spring. This is how well we work together. This is a true example. We had a budget in the spring to, I think we had 6 games. What, we had 4 home games, something like that. So that means 4 times going to a hotel, all the kids in the rooms equate that. That's probably 30,000 a weekend. Okay. Okay. Times 4, that's probably 120 G's that we're going to spend for home games in the spring. Please. I said, we ain't spending no 120 in the spring for no hotels. I'm going to teach these guys to be disciplined. And if I catch one of them out in the streets, because I got a lot in the streets, and they're going to tell me who at the club, saying they're going to take a picture of them and send it to me, and they ain't going to play. So we got to train them right. So I'd say, tell you what, I'm going to say you 120 G's, but I need 25 of it because I need some new helmets right here. All right?
Right.
So you clearing 95. He said, deal. so that's how that's one small example of how we work together.
I appreciate it. I'm coming to see you next week.
I know you. You know I'm coming to the crib now.
Oh, well, I might see you in a couple of days then.
That's what I'm saying. Just come on, sit on the porch with me, man. Let's talk.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Love you, man.
All right, bro.
Next question goes to Stephen Gaither.
Coach Prime, how you doing this morning?
How you doing, sir?
Doing well. Just came through. You are finalists for the Eddie Robinson Award for the top coach in FCS football. Obviously, you do this for so many other different reasons and awards, but just talk about what it means your first year to be up for an award named after a legend like that.
Man, you just hit me with something, my brother. Eddie Robinson, man?
Yes, sir. You're a finalist for it.
Dude, do you know who Eddie Robinson is and was? Like Eddie Robinson, man? Like that to me is that's astounding, man. That you got me speechless, and you know I'm good with my mouthpiece. Eddie Robinson, man, like shoot, just to be mentioned. And that is it's truly a gift from God. Just to be mentioned, just to be nominated for that is unbelievable. Eddie Robinson, God, you know how many times I watched this man coach, man, this man do what he did. Oh God, that's a blessing. I'm very appreciative, and I'm floored.
As a follow-up really quick, Shador is up for the Jerry Rice Award for Freshman of the Year, as well as the Walter Payton. Again, your son mentioned with some of the greats. Just talk about what that means for you in coming here.
Well, that one now, you might as well bring that one on him. We shoot, let's start playing. Okay. Now that one there, now I'm floored for the Ed Robinson. But that right there, please just bring that on in and put a bow on that one. I'm proud of him, man. I'm proud of him with the way he's played, the way he sees the field, the way he's encouraged his teammates, the way he approaches practice daily, the way he gets on their butts when they're not doing what they need to do. I'm just proud of his maturity and who he is on and off the field. I really am.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
Last question goes to James Hill.
Coach Prime, I hope you and everybody at J-State are well. Can you talk a little bit about just going forward into the SWAC championship? And also we look over and we see FAMU getting an opportunity as a HBCU in the FCS playoffs.
Please, I just dropped the video for Coach Simmons about that. You know, that's my man. That's my guy. That is another wow moment. That is another moment that we're going to stick a flag in the ground for HBCU football. And I am a FAMU Rattler fan right now. Let me see if I got see, I got my orange whistle. I'm gonna wear my orange whistle all week because I'm representing FAM, and I want them to win. I want them to dominate. And I'm not saying I want Coach Simmons to go somewhere because he's so good, and he's so good for his team. But that man can coach, man. He can coach his butt off. And I see a lot of job openings in college football, and come on, man, that dude right there is a real coach. And I love him to life, and his wisdom and the things that he imparts in me is second to none. I don't know what to say, man. Give me another part of your question. I forgot because I'm so floored with FAMU. I'm happy with that. I'm so happy for us as a HBCU with that. Is that the first time? Has that ever happened?
That's a good question. We'll
First
find
time
out.
in 20 years. Dennis, you go.
Yeah, in 5 years. Yeah.
Dennis spit
Yeah.
that thing like a rap.
First time since 1997 for the conference in Jackson State.
There you go.
All
right. The SWAC championship, next stop. Just talk about taking your team forward as you guys continue to compete for a national championship.
Well, I tell you what, we won Saturday and we played well, but guess what happened on Sunday? We were at practice. We practice on Sundays. We work, we get it in. The guys that play 70% of the plays, they don't have to do anything physical, but we have to fix what we messed up. And the guys that didn't play 70% of the plays, that's the way we develop guys. And that's why we choose to go on Sundays and make sure they ain't out there doing nothing stupid on Saturday nights. But we're going forward, man, and we get a head start. We get a head start in preparation. We get a head start on just preparing for Prairie View. And they have another game left. When they got to drive, they just got finished playing. I don't know who did their schedule. They just got finished playing Texas A&M. Then they got to drive all the way to Mississippi Valley. Then they got to drive back. Then they got to drive all the way back to right here to Mississippi for us. I don't know who did their schedule, but I'm thankful whoever did it. Tell them God bless them, because that's exhausting. And there's no way I would have scheduled my team against a Power 5 team at the conclusion of the season. You do that at the beginning of the season, man. You don't do that to those kids mentally right now. I just watched the quarterback get hit so hard, I failed. I failed when I watched him on that backside blitz that they didn't pick up for him. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a wonderful game. I'm just praying that all our fans pour into the stadium, and we want to expect at least 50,000. That's what we desire. That's what we want. It's going to be hard for those fans to come all the way down from Houston, especially if they just coming back from Houston. I mean, coming from Houston to Mississippi back to back. I don't think that's going to happen. But we're hoping is it Jacksonians? Is that correct? Attend the game and support us tremendously, because we feed off the fans. But the only game we lost was in down the street, Monroe, because we had a handful of fans. There's a cup full of fans came to the game, and we feed off them. They mean so much to us and so much to our kids. Appreciate it.
Sir. Enjoy your holiday this week, and sweet potato pie or whatever you like to eat.
Yeah, I think some yams and black eyed peas and yellow rice. That's how I get down. Oxtail.
All right.
We missed one question in the queue. If we could just take one final question from Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. Just wanted to ask you about the maturation process of your program from the spring to the fall. You guys were 500 last year, and now you SWAC East champs and going to play for a championship. How gratifying is it as a coach to watch your team progress in that way?
It's great. I think we were 4-3 actually. Give me that one that they forfeited. I need that one. I need that one for my record to make sure it's over 500. Right? It was 4-3, but we had to clean house. We had to get rid of some guys that didn't have it. Smart, tough, fast, discipline. I'm serious about that. And then character. We needed those guys to have 3 of those attributes out of those 4, but have character. And we had to clean it out. We just is what it is. We had to get some common people that understood the vision, understood the want, the desire, and had the passion for the purpose of what we're trying to attain. And we got them in here. The sad thing about it, we have about 7 kids that are ineligible right now academically from transfers. And I don't know how that happens, because some kids transfer into a school and they lose a ton of credits. We got to fix that on the HBCU realm. We had kids that could have come here and end up going to Kansas, but you could get in Kansas, but you can't get in Jackson State. We don't understand that whatsoever. So we got to fix a whole lot of this stuff in the off season. And I'm pretty sure we will. And I'm not the only one dealing with this, because I talked to several coaches around the SWAC and HBCUs that are dealing with the same process. But we just got some kids in here that have a winning attitude, a winning mindset. And we didn't have to convince them, and they didn't buy in. They just committed. And that was the difference in the consistency of that. And we don't let it slide. When we say get to the ball on defense, you get to the ball or you don't play. When we call this play an offense and the depth is 10 yards on this route and you run 9, you coming out. You're not going to play. If we have a meeting at this time and you come in there, meeting's at 7:05 or 7 o'clock, and you come in there at 7:55, you might as well walk on out, because I usually start the meetings at probably 7:52, 53, just to get them understanding this is what life is going to be like when you are employed or when you go to the league or whatever. But we have a whole different culture around here, and you got to see it to understand it. You got to be involved in it to understand it. But it's a different day. Mr. Bishop and Jock, they've been around and they've seen what I'm talking about, and it's a different day. If you can't even come on our practice field unless you have black socks, or you going home. We just during the game, before the game, I come out there when we stretching and somebody have on the socks cut and all this, I just point to the locker room, because you ain't playing today. And they go right in there and change, or they not gonna play, and I don't care who they are. So we've changed the thought process and the culture, and we have an expectation to win. You have an expectation. I'm not just talking about me. You got an expectation that I won, and I fulfilled it. I'm the only darn coach in this first season you expected to win. You was gonna kill me if I didn't. So build me because I did.
Coach, good answer. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Oh, I have fun with you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time, and we look forward to speaking to you next week.
Hey, I thank y'all. God bless y'all. I'm serious. God bless y'all. HBCU, we are it right now. Let's keep up the good work. Y'all keep up the good writing, the good reporting, and what y'all do, because we need y'all as well. Y'all keep it up. And this thing is going to be a beautiful thing, which it already is. God bless y'all.